I am present.
Okay. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. Listen, before we get started, can we just stand and have a moment of silence for Terry Diabaldi and her family and what they're going through right now? Thanks. All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Terry left, correct? She's not going to be here? She left?
Yeah, she left, yep. She dropped off. I mean, she's forever working and thinking, and she gave us, we have, well, Chief, we told you we'd give you the floor the moment you walked in, so.
Well, what I wanted to just follow back up on, you had asked for some documentation. We were still working on it. It was a little bit unclear what you exactly wanted. You wanted, the email was that you wanted some data from past years.
Okay.
So I kind of need clarification on that. I tasked my lieutenant with that, Lieutenant Mazza. We've been just very busy. It's been a very busy few weeks. So we're trying to catch up on some things.
Okay.
If you could just clarify what you need and what type of data, if we can provide that Imperial data, we'll do
You
that.
know, I think it's probably accident data and injury data, that type of thing.
Okay, is it a specific timeline or area?
No.
Or are you looking for the entire city?
Yeah, like, I don't know how you do that for like, say, 2023 or something, to give us a sense of what's happening.
And they all, I mean, we have a lot of fender benders, we have a lot of motor vehicle accidents, but you're speaking specifically bike-related. Anything with a pedestrian or a bike, or just bike?
Pedestrian and bike, yeah.
Okay.
That would be great.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, we can provide, I will provide that between now and the next meeting for clarification. I mean, we've had several, I mean, we've, obviously, but I'll give you an exact number when I provide this to Lieutenant Mazza with regards to pedestrians and bicycles. I mean, that would be, yeah, they're included in that, yep.
EVs, yeah, and slow-speed, electric bikes and
Yeah.
scooters.
Scooters, they presented themselves. We don't have a lot of them, but we've had one or two scooter accidents. I'll try to break them down for you and get that in the rough for you. So just give me a little bit on that. LT Mazda will get that for you. We've seen a heavy increase in bicycle traffic. It's unnerving sometimes when I come down Broadway. It's just the amount of traffic that comes through Broadway, and I cringe every time I drive past someone on that outlet, coming into Broadway, coming into town. I just wish people would not use that route, but they do.
They do.
And they're doubled up. I was present with the bus accident. I was like second on scene with that bus accident a couple of years ago, where the fatality we had. So, and exactly that same manner of travel, it's just too tight, and there's no way to restrict them from Broadway. But with the increased paving job in Cape May and along the way, and I know we have. With the manager here too now, Sunset and Broadway is going to be relined for pedestrian traffic across there. It's just the popularity, the congestion, and the added LSVs, bicycles, and cars. It's just a lot to maintain. And the buses, yeah, and the buses trying to share that. So, we're trying to take account of it and keep on top of it, but it's a living, breathing thing. I can't tell bicycle shops to stop renting bikes and people stop riding bikes, but we want them to ride bikes.
Yeah.
Just sharing the road with all these other facets is a difficult task. So as far as the data that you requested, we will provide that for pedestrians, bicycle and motorized bikes. Lieutenant Mazza and I will gather that and get that to you. So, and we'll do it for 2023, and if we can do it for 22 as well, and maybe even just up until now of 24.
Okay.
Okay?
Great, thanks.
Yep.
And so you have the floor for now?
I don't know that there's anything more. The manager might be able to extend any new projects we have with any roadways or stripings. I think we're pretty much done with striping and sharrows for the now in Cape May. If there's anything West Cape May has.
Tomorrow they're doing the Sunset and Broadway intersection. They're restriping the crosswalks, and then they're doing Pacific,
and
which is
Sunset.
the way we would like people to go. instead of on Broadway. And they're also putting up by Stimson, they're going to put paint on the roadway, reduce speed ahead, because that little sign really doesn't
Yeah.
stand out. So
Right.
it's going to be on there, and they're going to paint 25 mile per hour in the street on Broadway in both directions.
Yeah,
I don't know
Bob
where
Church-
they're actually doing that, but
I think Bob Church did send down the mapping on that. He's been very receptive on most
he's
projects.
been great, yeah.
I know I've received a couple different complaints, even just through last night. I got another one for, request for some calming devices on certain roads. Yeah, I don't control that, so that's something we need to look at. I would love a couple calming devices in town, but, the one thing I do see, though, in West Cape May, driving in, is trash days is horrendous with basically the trash cans get left right in the bike path. And then until the person brings them in, the bicyclists are going around them and swerving around it. And these trash guys are not, they're
We've
busy.
actually multiple times asked the trash
Put
company.
them back on the sidewalk.
When we had the last contract, they would do that. Now,
Yeah,
they
they might need to be
They leave them
revisited.
in the middle. I mean, I live on Broadway, so I know they might.
Yeah, it's really that inlet right past the flower shop on the left and right. It's like narrow. You can't, I literally saw 6 big trash cans. I was like, So yeah, I mean, if you can make contact with them, or just put it back on me. Just say the chief doesn't want these in the street, and it'll be, I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. I'm good.
It's a safety issue.
Yep, safety.
The only thing I would note is the county's going to be, this week, should be out on Madison to put the crosswalks across Madison for the couple crosswalks on Madison. They should be going
Okay.
out this week.
Great. Thanks.
We are still, our bike safety initiative for positive helmet tickets is in full effect. We're out and about. If you can follow us on Facebook or Instagram, we're out and about. I have certain squads they live and breathe that program. They love to stop kids with helmets on. So we're out in Cape May Point, West Cape May. We're stopping kids because we do have a lot of families that do practice safe riding with their helmets on. So, but we also have a lot of people that don't. So. I saw a kid buzzing around town yesterday or last night when I came in down on New Jersey Avenue, just circling the block with no helmet. I'm like, I just talked to his parents. I'm like, you need a helmet on this kid. So that's our initiative currently. That's going to run, obviously through this season now. And we've got 1,000 tickets that we're going to give out. And I have to applaud our business owners for helping us provide the slices of pizza, the ice cream. It's an incentive for them to do it. So the kids are really happy when they get the positive helmet ticket. I know it's a little thing, but it goes a long way. I know that I've had repeat kids like, hey, I'm wearing my helmet today, and we give them another ticket. We don't care.
Yeah.
So we do.
Great.
So, if you guys are out and about and you see something that you have an issue with or whatever, or a certain, bike rental place is not doing the right thing, just please let me know.
Yeah, I just had a discussion with Terry this morning, and she's feeling like the bike shops aren't doing the lights and the bells as much as they.
I have noticed not a lot of bikes and bells on lights and bells on vehicle on the bikes as well. So I'll speak to Cape and Dennis over here at the Village Bike Shop again, kind of reiterate that. And then Pedgo, same thing. A lot of places, a lot of hotels that are renting bikes too. Congress Hall, I've seen their yellow fleet with nothing on it.
Right.
So we'll
Right.
circle back on lights and bells.
Yeah, and sometimes the excuse is that, well, they ride mostly during the day, so they don't need lights.
Nah.
Well, that's not true, because you should have lights on during the day too, because as far as I'm concerned, if I have my front light on and I'm riding down the street,
It gives the driver,
traffic
it gives the driver sees you, the flashing light. So I'll physically go out and speak to the bike shops today, right after the meeting. I got to do a run around town. So, and they're receptive, but I know it's a cost on them, but a bike light compared to a life, I'll take it.
right. Good, thank you.
Yep, we'll take
Yeah.
care of that.
Anybody else have any questions for the chief?
We're trying, like I said, it's,
Oh.
we're sharing the road with all these motorists on roads that were supposed to be meant as cartways, not driveways or physical highways. The traffic, the speed's an issue too. We have the complaint I got last night for Lafayette Street, basically after we repaved the road, the monitor was all over me with, put speed enforcement out there. We can get out there. We need to get out there a little bit harder and get more tickets out. Start, penning some tickets out and getting on it, because you pave a road, it becomes a speedway. And it's, it's nice and clean now. It feels good. You get up 30, 45, 50 miles an hour and you're moving. And we've already done the studies with Mr. Yeager and your guys last time with, that decrease in speed saving the lives. So if we can keep them
Gosh,
down.
yeah. No?
I know the mayor actually had just sent us an email. He wanted 20 more, in Cape May anyway, 20 more 20-mile-an-hour signs, wanted more speed signs. So I know the sign shop was tasked with that. And I know the manager had either green lighted that or told them how many to get made. So definitely
Yeah.
got to get out there.
You know, it's just so interesting. I have family that lives in D.C., so when I go to visit, the transformation that has occurred in that city in the last 10 years has just been incredible. And really, the only effective way, in my mind, to slow people down is the tables or the bumps or whatever you want to call them.
I think so. I think they're just studies.
our
The studies have
engineer,
showed not. I like the look of it, like Stone Harbor. I like as you enter in, but once they get over them, they just kick it back up again.
I mean, Massachusetts, 2 blocks long, where my home is, it's like a drag strip.
Yeah.
I mean, they just floor it to get from one end to the other.
I was up in Atlantic City last week for a conference, and 2 weeks ago, and then for another event. But I was speaking to Jimmy Sarkos, the chief of police up there, and they took some flack because they actually took bikes off the boardwalk. Basically, after a certain time, like they're basically you just have bikes up and down the AC boardwalk. They took motorized bikes off too. I know we've had that complaint on our boardwalks. I mean, I definitely would maybe try to re-entertain that no motorized bikes. They zip through, but they just need to be enforced at 10 o'clock to be all bikes off.
Is that, bikes, electric bikes on the boardwalk, is that a code enforcement issue or is that a police issue?
Code enforcement falls under me as well, so it's more,
Oh, okay.
it's an LO, so it's a local ordinance that both code enforcement and our officers can enforce, and it would probably be enforced more so by my side of the house with the class 1s and 2s, and I wouldn't. We need to step it up. We were too nice in the beginning. Okay, please get off. Now it's ticket time. Unfortunately, the problem is going to be local tickets because it's mostly our local people that drive.
Yeah.
And then some people that are
Everybody thinks that it's like our visitors that are the most non-compliant. No, most of it are the people that are here year after year.
Yeah.
Whether they're resident or whether they have their home, seasonally, but it's the regulars that are the most non-compliant traditionally.
And I did get one complaint. I got to go check it myself that the sign wasn't up to date for dogs on the boardwalk and bikes, but I'm pretty sure it says that on there. And people do it on the mall and they don't even pay attention. It's literally right there when you drive up there. So with no bikes, no dogs on the mall, on the boardwalk, and they still do it. West Cape May is a little different because there's, it's a roadway. There's no areas where the bikes can't be. I just really would love them off Broadway, but it's
I
hard.
asked that question the last time. I said, can we just ban people on Lafayette and Broadway? And that will take away a lot of problems. I think what we talked about, though, is we need to give them alternate routes that they feel comfortable going on. Like, if you're going down Broadway, you should turn at Landis and go down Pacific.
Yeah, and just kind of breeze
And just-
through, get the Sunset and then come back. I'd rather you on Sunset and come
Right,
back.
and then, but that would involve we're putting a crosswalk at Pacific, but that may involve one of those flashing light things where you hit the button and then my bridge that I'd like to have.
West Cape May can start the bridge. We'll give
But
you,
it goes into Cape May, so we'd have to,
you start it from your side, we'll give you a landing spot.
okay. I heard that, it's in public. We will do that.
You have a witness?
I have, well, it's on tape, and Jack Fichter will make sure that he put that in the article.
Correct.
Hey, you got to get a permit from the DEP first, so.
I'm aware of
Good luck with that one.
Get a permit from the DEP, then we'll talk.
Okay.
Another thing that I noticed, especially on Sunset, is people riding two abreast rather than single file. I know we used to have some signage to that effect, to ride single file. If we could dig some of those out, I think that would help in some of the places.
Now, Sunset's going to fall on the side of the county more so, I guess, or the borough, either one.
Yeah.
Portions of it, like it's going to extend down, but, we hate to do the sign pollution, but we need to, like she's saying, it's just maybe at the beginning of the route, please ride single file.
But the plan for, I guess, fall of '26, when the Higbee project's over, they're putting speed mitigation on Sunset. I mean, if you
Okay.
look at they have tables on Sunset. We're going to make it one speed all the way up. They have they're going to have the boardwalk out into the meadows, all the way down. There's going to be crosswalks at Pacific, Atlantic, Columbia, Bay Shore, in front of the Nature Center.
Okay.
West, Seagrove.
Seagrove, right.
All those, all the way up, and Lighthouse.
Yeah, I think some paving, at least some restriping would bring more attention to it because it's just a straightaway, you know what I mean? Like I said, and then once that nature area gets fully opened up, it's going to be a draw attraction. Plus, we're pushing September when the trucks come back. I do apologize now. Yeah. But yeah,
It's
we'll,
nice not having the trucks in the summer.
it is a blessing, but they're coming back. It's, you know, and there are 200 of them a day coming back.
Did it 208 one day.
200, yeah, exactly. We'll deal with that one. Sorry.
That's okay. That's right. Well, thanks, Chief. Do you have any questions for us?
We have National Night Out coming up. You guys are more than welcome to come and set up a table if you'd like, if you're going to come and give some bike safety tips, or if you have anything you want to give out, just connect with Ally, my secretary, one of my secretaries. You guys are more than welcome to bring a table, or, you know, just bring some informative information. We invite everybody to there. If you have some bike helmets you want to give away, or talk to the bike shops and want to get a couple helmets to kids, we're going to give a few away and a couple bikes away. So anytime we give a bike away, we give a helmet away, obviously, but
What's the
bike
date
lights
again?
too. We got some bike lights from Swain's that we were dealing with.
What was the date again?
November 6th, starting at 5, pardon me, August 6th, pardon me. I'm fast forwarding, August 6th, 5:30. Right on the beachfront. So if you guys have any, you know, I know the Kiwanis, their program usually kicks up around now. You guys are going to be there with bike lights, yep, so it's perfect. So maybe you just set up next to them or have some literature for them on that, and or just kind of work in conjunction. That would work, definitely. So bike lights for people, we can give out bike lights to kids and do that.
Yeah, along those lines, you know, we've been discussing amongst ourselves, we did a map in the past. And the paper map, the discussion goes is that it's probably impractical for a biker to have a paper map. But, so we're trying to work on the
QR code.
QR code and a digital map for their phones.
It's like anything else. If you build it, they will come. They don't read it. It's the unfortunate part. They're too busy. Where's ice cream? Where's the beach? Where's this? And they just really don't take the time to see. Because they would see clearly it's red lined on Broadway. You really should. That's a pathway you shouldn't take. And they still take it. It's right on the map. Red, red, red. So
We do know that they leave their brains at the bridge when they come into town sometimes.
sometimes. Yep.
Okay. Thanks, Chief. Appreciate
You're
it.
very welcome. I'm here. Whatever you need.
Yeah. So, Paul, you're next on the,
Sure. A big project I wanted to update the committee on is we're looking at, as part of our capital bond project, we're doing a sidewalk-specific project. Somewhere between $600,000 and $700,000 worth of sidewalk work that we're going to be working on. It'll be partially coordinated with Shade Tree to deal with sidewalks that are impacted by street trees, but also we're going to be looking at doing some of our corridor areas, start like in the downtown, Franklin, Columbia, Ocean, Congress, that kind of the hub where a lot of people do a lot of the priority walking, and so that project we're going to do for this upcoming year as part of a capital project.
okay.
So that's probably the newest project that we're going to be bringing out from a pedestrian standpoint.
Are you going to,
There's a question on that. Are you going to try and get a bid and have just one contractor do all the sidewalks?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Because in the past, everybody got their own contractor.
Well, that's under a 50/50 program that is run through the Shade Tree Commission, that if a homeowner has issues, that they can do this. I'm looking at more doing corridor-wise and a broader scope project. We're going to address some of the, I'll say, isolated locations, but really our intent is to look at corridors and kind of upgrade them from a pedestrian standpoint.
are you going to
Thank you.
removing the slate and putting in?
No, we would if somebody has slate, we're going to reset it in concrete, because most of the slate that's out there is just setting on sand bed, so it gets moved around a lot, especially if it's around a street tree. So, we would be looking at resetting slate, resetting brick, and then, replacing concrete as necessary. So, but it's all, we're not going to take out any of the historic elements that would be there for a property owner. Just trying to create a better surface for pedestrians.
Is this insurance-driven at all? No?
No, it's just realizing that we have a need out there and, prioritizing some of our capital funds to address that need.
Yeah, it's great.
Great.
I know that Terry D. Ubaldi emailed you a list of concerns she had, and, I mean, we don't need to go through them in detail today, but I think it was the July 7th she sent it to you.
Yes. I mean, if you want, we can go through some of those. I didn't, some of them are just ongoing projects that, that are part of our planning efforts. Some of them were really just road construction issues. Hang on, I had it up here a while ago, but now
I can give you my paper copy if you want.
no, I'll have it here in a second. So, Elmira and Bank, that's a project that Langston Electric will be doing in the fall.
Okay,
So that's, but it's not, but it's only Venice and Elmira. It's not, there's no work proposed for Bank Street.
okay.
I'll look at the others. She had asked about some stop lines and crosswalks, so I'll have to, get with Public Works to take a look at them and see what is appropriate.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate
Yep.
it.
I've got a question. On the Lafayette Street repaving, except for immediately around the school, there are no sharrows all the way from the center of town to the school, and then after Madison, all the way out to,
Because Lafayette, we're really not encouraging bike traffic at this point. For the ones at the school were part of a Safe Streets to School project to, bringing the bikes and the children down Madison and get them to the school. So at this point, we can relook at it in the future, but I don't think that the intent was at this point, maybe it's something that, as we look at the bike safe, at the roadway safety program, and we look at that as a priority project, but at this point, I think, Chief, that's what we just mentioned, Lafayette Street, Broadway, those are some of the streets that we don't necessarily want to encourage bicyclists to be on. So putting a sharrow on a road that we don't want to encourage bicyclists to be on, that's kind of counterintuitive. So until we really look at it holistically, one of the things I feel that will come out of our roadway safety plan is to revisit our bike plan for the city. Last time the bike plan was really, it's been probably 8 or 9 years since we've really done a comprehensive bike plan. So most likely one of the projects that's going to come out of the roadway safety plan is let's update our bike plan. So there again, we don't really want to do something just, let's just put up a sharrow. You just don't want to, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah.
So putting up extra things just because you think it could help, but if it's not part of a comprehensive plan for what should be done, is not necessarily appropriate. So, Lafayette Street's maybe not a road that we want to encourage bicyclists to be on. Maybe we want them to encourage them to drive an alternate route so that sharrows really aren't appropriate for Lafayette Street. I'm not saying that we don't necessarily want to, but I think we need to discuss it as a comprehensive discussion, not just, oh, we should.
And the bike law is there. We have some teeth with the bike law as far as the new one that came out last year with being 4 feet out. But, people are frustrated with the bikes in the roadway as it is. Putting showers, like the manager's saying, in the middle of Lafayette or on Lafayette Street is just going to decrease that roadway. It's just too tight.
Just like, Washington, the other night I was leaving town and I had to follow a bike for 3 or 4 blocks until the bike had enough space to get into it where there were no cars parked so that I could safely get by the bike. So, it's all part of sharing the road. Part of what that bike has to know is they have to take their space, and everybody has to share the road. But I don't think adding sharrows at this point, until we have a comprehensive plan of really where we want to encourage them to be, I think is the more appropriate course of action.
Is that?
well, have you thought about the potential for a sign, let's say at the corner of Lafayette and Madison, that, bicycling, dangerous for bicycling, use one of the Michigan Avenue.
Yeah, but we have, until we have that established route and plan, that's what I'm saying. We have to do the study first. We shouldn't sit here as a group just throwing things out, oh, we should do this, we should do that. We should come up with a plan and then follow a plan. That's the way proper engineering and methodology, because then it gives the chief proper enforcement. Because if we just haphazardly, then you're sending mixed messages to the people and to our residents. It's confusing enough for them to be out there as it is. And honestly, the people that are riding their bikes on, like Lafayette, they're road warriors people.
Yeah,
You know, you're not having, I don't think we're ever going to see the family with all the kids in tow riding down Lafayette or Washington or Broadway for that matter.
We do see that.
Some people do get confused.
But I mean, but they're going to do it once because they didn't know about it, but they're most likely not going to try to do it twice.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we talked about this with the consultants that, you know, because, you know, they're data-driven and they said, this is a hot spot, this is a hot spot. My mind works like you just said. If I live in West Cape May and I live on Stevens Street, how do I get to the beach? From the western side of West Cape May, what's the appropriate way to get to the beach? What's the appropriate way to get into Washington Street Mall? And like you said, it's a holistic plan. We want people off Broadway. What's the alternative? What signage do we put up? Do we want them to go down Pacific and cross there? Or we want them to go down Park where there's bike lanes.
Right.
So how do you get to that point? You don't want them on Lafayette. What are your options?
Right.
Your options are, well, coming out of town, Columbia, Cape May Avenue is the biggest street event. I mean,
Correct.
there's
Right.
8 lanes. Up Pittsburgh on the bike lane and then out town that way. That's I don't know. I'm just brainstorming from my own experience. But that's what we have to look at, I think, when we talk to the consultants. And then all the little actions come
I
out.
think once the consultants are done with their reports, we as a group sit down and kind of formalize, you know, how to get this message out. I think a social media campaign would probably be a little bit better than the QR code, or at least put that all out there. People do read it. People do look at social media. Everyone has their phone looking at Instagram and looking at, so I can push it. You guys can push it. We can push it through the city and the boroughs. And then people that come here, like, these are these streets we encourage you to drive on. And once we have a route to give them, then we blast it. Okay, if you're coming into West Cape May, use this route. Okay, if you're coming down into Cape May, use this route, use these safe streets. Once that report is to us, we'll break it down and simplify it as best we can and give them some visuals. Even if I have to physically go out there and drive the route and take pictures as I go along. When you get here, turn here and go up this street.
Yep.
You know, people don't want to be inconvenienced, but, you know, it's
And that helps the drivers, too.
It does.
It's
Helps everybody.
that's the biggest problem. I mean, I got stuck like you did. I was going down Lafayette, 2 bikers in front of me, all the way out. And, you know, but I'm a biker, so I just wait.
Right.
You know, people behind me are on my bumper.
Paul, isn't the game plan for Lafayette Street in front of the school, isn't that to come down Broad Street and go behind the school and then come out at Madison?
with the park itself being.
Yeah, where the park, aren't they, when they're putting the Lafayette Street Park, isn't there supposed to be a...
That was talked about,
behind
yeah,
the
that,
school
yeah.
And then come
Well,
out?
that will be there will be a sidewalk path, yes,
Oh.
on the back side
That
of.
way it would come down, and that would
Yes.
take care of where Jim wanted the sharrows put.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. If
So
there's,
that's already got a game plan.
yeah. I do have to jump out for another 10 o'clock, but if there's anything else, and I'll follow up with Terry on some of those things
Okay,
individually,
thanks.
and we'll look at those. I just haven't had a chance to
Yep.
get with Public Works on them.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your
problem.
time.
One question on Canning House Lane, has anything been going on there as far as having bike access to the Canning House Lane Road?
That's not really a Cape May City issue at this point. That's really an issue for West Cape May and Lower Township.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one city property that it tangentially involves with, but the issue more is holistically, it's a discussion with Lansing Electric and West Cape May and Lower Township, because they're the,
Okay, because the electric company wanted a letter on something like
Right.
Cape May letterhead saying it's okay with them.
right.
Or Westgate.
Do you have that?
For a Cape May.
Do you have that?
was
Do you have that from the email? You could just forward us, and then we can kind of draft that up.
I talked to Ronnie Towns, and she said just send us a letter, and then have, you own the little, well, your part.
We own a little strip.
And then it's mostly lower.
Right.
It's mostly lower,
Yeah.
but they're doing the big project to put the metal poles up all the way down, so it would be, we'd try to do it in conjunction with that. That
Correct.
was our discussion when I.
Right. And then beyond, we're in the middle of doing a water transmission line.
Right, I saw that.
From Canning House Lane towards the canal.
Right.
In that section, so. I mean, and to be honest, I don't think you really want bikes coming down Canning House Lane. That's not a very wide road in and in itself, just to get them off
I
of
think to
Broadway.
connect to that back trail is what you're trying to say, right? Trying to connect.
I mean, yes, if we were to get a comprehensive trail from all the way to
From
the
the bridge.
canal
Yeah.
down, then possibly yes, but just to connect, I'll say the short strip from Canning House Lane heading south or east towards
Park Boulevard or
Because
Boulevard,
you're not-
that doesn't really solve anything, because putting them down Canning House Lane
And
is
then on
not,
the dirt road park, which is Pothole City, you don't.
correct. It's not, that's not an appropriate bike route, just to shorten.
The thought was that since we already have Park as a designated bike lane, if we could extend it right up the dirt road there on Park, which is ours, and then continue past the water treatment plant on the right-of-way of Atlantic City Electric, all the way
yeah.
out.
That's what I'm
and
saying. I think it has to be
connect to the bridge.
I think that's as a comprehensive plan, that's a viable
People off
long-term.
Broadway, yes, get people off Broadway. They can go around the new roundabout.
I'm just
right
saying
down
from,
the ramp,
from
yeah.
Canning House to Park at this point, that's not really,
Except all the bikes go down to Central in front of Ducky's and the
That's-
campground.
Yep.
That's a disaster, that.
I think it's
100 yards right
it's a broader project than just the one little,
there's a lot
Block.
of bikes come out of the campground and cross there, and pushing the button
Yeah,
it sometimes works.
I get nervous about Kenny House Lane too, because it's not an intersection. Whereas Central, at least there's a flashing light, and you can make that turn. Technically, that is the extension of the bike trail that runs down from, all the way down. It comes down, it goes on to Central, and it goes down Park. That's the actual
Correct.
road. So I'm not sure, honestly, how Canning House, why would I go down Canning House Lane and go onto a dirt road to make that right on the Park?
Canning House Lane is, if you look, there's paths on Seashore Road that have bike lanes on either side of the road. That's where that ends.
How are you going to make the left off of Broadway?
I'm not sure on that.
Block traffic?
The left off of Broadway to
Well, if I'm coming into town, here's Canning House Lane. I
Yeah.
got to make a left onto Canning House Lane.
yeah, you
There's
physically
no
have to
markings,
cross
there's
over.
no stops. Whereas if I go up to Central, there's actually a push button light. I can actually come up and the thing, hit
Yeah,
the
you-
button,
yep.
walk my bike across, and I'm on my way.
Yeah, traffic has been very,
Traffic.
very congested in these areas. I mean, we've seen so much traffic in the last 2 weeks that I'm not even sure where it's coming from. There's that many people here just before 4th of July and then after. Like the backups at both bridges is,
It's insane.
when I close the beaches, it's normal to get a mass exodus.
2-hour backup.
2-hour backup, but like 40, 50 minutes the other day to get out of town or get into town. It's like, wow. When you have a 2-week 4th of July basically weekend, because it stems into the second weekend, it's very, difficult. But I think we should revisit the Ronnie Towns issue. Maybe the manager may not be aware of it as far as that roadway. And then at least that would ease Park Boulevard, maybe forces them to pave the road. I don't
It's a
know.
longer-term solution.
Yeah.
That,
Pave the road and get them down there and get them all the way down the Bridge
Off-Broadway.
Road.
Yeah.
Even, get them down the Bridge Road or get them around or come up the winery. There's a little access road that the winery could use, but I don't know if they want them on that property. But definitely poke Ronnie Towns again and then kind of just include the manager. Hey, let's revisit that conversation. What do you want to do here with this bike access? Ronnie's very receptive.
Cool.
So she is.
Well, okay, a lot of good conversation. Well, we'll move on to, are you okay, Bob? You have any other comments, questions?
No.
It's, Paul's comments, I think, are well taken, that a comprehensive plan is what
Oh, I agree with
is
that.
needed so that we're not doing things piecemeal. So
Yeah.
I retract my speed bump comment from earlier, but
I believe if
That's
it's a
part of-
recommendation, it will be heavily looked at. I'd like them to recommend some speed humps. I like the Stone Harbor effect coming into town. I don't know why it won't work for Lafayette. People are so against it. Why it wouldn't work for Leeming Avenue, but I guess the onus is letting this company, the consultation be completed and say, okay, yes, because they're still vetting my stop sign at Venice.
Well, the company didn't even have Broadway as a hotspot.
It didn't have
No.
them?
No.
And then
They have it now,
The
right?
next week, there was 3 accidents in one day
Right.
on Broadway.
They have it now, though, right?
We keep saying it, I mean,
We haven't met with them, so.
since then, but it's insane.
Who's in direct I'm not in contact with them. So is it Paul or is it someone else who's in contact with them? Have you been in contact with them at all?
Paul would be the contact.
Yeah, Paul's.
Okay.
Yeah.
A question here is, it's been discussed for decades now, but turning Lafayette and Washington into one-way streets, is that a sacred cow?
Sacred cow. I think its ship has sailed.
Because that would solve a lot of problems.
It would solve the car problem, but I think
Well, it
bikes,
would cause some problems.
yeah, I think the
there's a
bikes would still
perfect- If it
do,
was a perfect solution, it already been done.
I still have bikes to go down the mall the wrong way.
It's been in
Right.
the master plan, the last 2 master plans that Cape May has had, to make, I guess it's Lafayette Street one-way coming in, Washington Street
yeah.
one-way going out.
I think it
But
would
it's
help.
It's never been,
I always wondered why that wasn't the case,
That was-
frankly.
That was done back in the early 60s.
It makes a lot of
And it
sense.
became- Washington was they were both racetracks coming in. It was,
well, there's ways to stop racetracks.
well, I'm just saying that it has been tried before.
Yeah, okay.
I will ask him again. I will bring it
But,
up.
you know, it would allow for bike lanes, and it would make those streets so much safer.
We're doing our master plan again for 2025. In fact, we're just putting
Correct.
it out to bid, so
But-
this will be some of the issues for us.
And I think the issue is the residents. The residents don't want their street to be a one-way street. That's
Yeah.
the bottom line. I mean, and then they make all other excuses to bring in, so they're just not saying, well, I'm being selfish, I don't want a one-way
You
street.
kind of need their buy-in. You can't just change it, but I will bring it back up. Respectfully, I would give the manager some time to just catch his breath and look at all these. We've been here a long time, so we know these projects. And when we throw things at him like, hey, he's got to look at it from the first. He's only hearing it for the first time, and he's got to go back and do his homework and get the history behind it. And say, okay, well, because like you, Bob, you would know because you've been here a long time that's been tried before. You know, what I mean, I'm 49 years old, and I was a kid when it was tried. So before that, I was born in '75.
They tried, they had one way coming in and Washington out, and then when that didn't work, that's when they did Sydney Street.
Correct.
When you came in, it was all one way and then turned. That's when that,
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that's how Sydney
What
was
was the
born.
reason it didn't work?
people were flying.
Speed table.
They're doing it now. Speed tables are different things. So, again, I'd like to make sure that the consultation team has Broadway and then has looked at that one-way option of these streets. So I'm going to ask him about that to check the consult team and see. We're paying them good money to do it. It's just 2 more streets to study. On that, when's the circle going in? I know we talked about it. I missed a couple of meetings.
It literally could be as soon as this fall.
Okay.
There's just a few deed issues that.
With the lumber yard and
We
such.
did the lumberyard
Lumberyard's done.
square. It's this, they're taking some property off the CVS and
Yep.
then that little office on the one corner of Perry and Grant. So there's a couple other things that have to happen, but I mean, the engineering's done.
Okay.
I mean, it was done 11 years ago.
Yeah, I was a West Cape May cop and he talked about it, so it's been all that long. There's a drawing in there from like 1999. It's in there. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be done, so.
All right, well, thanks, Chief. I appreciate all the feedback and the,
I will circle back with the manager, and like I said, we'll revisit some of these things. I will get the report that you're asking for when Lieutenant Moss is back in the office now, because he's been texting me. I'll get what we need and get, as detailed as we can, that you
Yeah.
can read it and get it over to you guys in an email, and then you can.
yeah,
forward it to
I think we just need kind of
An overview.
not too much detail, but I mean, just
Okay.
hot spots and
Yep,
that kind of stuff. Yep.
perfect. All right, let me know. I'm going to shoot
Thanks.
upstairs, and I'll get that taken care of for you.
Appreciate it.
Have a good one.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
All right.
Buddy.
So I'm looking at you all have the agenda in front of you. Are we finished with Canning House? Okay. The meeting, last month's meeting, I wasn't there, but I heard enough about it. Any comments about that? I mean, it was data-driven, and they didn't do any boots-on-the-ground type observations. So, I mean, that's a frustration, I think, for us. And Terry sent them the 2023 wish list, and there's an update to it, too. I think you have it right there with your stuff. Yep. So that'll get sent to them as well. But what we would like to do as a committee would be to just go through this again and mark it up, and let's get it as accurate as we can, so that the next time we meet with them, which is next month, we can, and we were talking about possibly getting together with them before next month's meeting, just to kind of go through this stuff to make it accurate and,
I think that's a good idea.
yeah. Anybody have any?
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So I think that's what we'll try to do.
I really like the idea of eliminating parking on the shoulder, but leading into Ducky's, before Ducky's there, coming from the bridge.
Oh, yeah, I'm on that route a lot, and coming into the city.
Yeah.
With my bike, and I mean, I don't mind, but I mean, I've got a mirror, I've got lights, but it's dangerous.
It is,
And
It is-
the 4-foot rule, forget it, because,
right,
yeah,
yeah.
so,
Now, I don't, that parking there, there's residences there, so I don't know what the kickback is gonna, no, kickback's the wrong word, but feedback is gonna be about taking residences' parking spots away.
Yeah, I actually don't know who has the jurisdiction on parking on the road, since it's a county road. I don't know if, like West Cape May, we just make
Right.
an ordinance, we can just say, we'll change that to no parking.
Yeah,
I'd have to look that.
yeah, more than likely, you're tied to the county,
Correct,
running that through the county to change anything, yep.
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's an odd spot, because there's only,
Yeah,
there's maybe 8 spots there.
Yeah,
And some of the houses have driveways, I think a couple of them don't.
Right.
So they park right in front. So I don't know how that will go,
yeah,
because there's really no other parking within a while.
right.
No,
You can't park on Central, you can't park on the other side of Broadway at that point.
so it's crying for some kind of, at least warning or.
There needs to be at least it needs to be striped, so that you bump out, there's
Yes.
the road in the roadway.
Right.
Yes. So that we have the same issue, there's something on Beach that Terry was talking about.
Yeah, right down.
There's a bump out, there's no transition into it, so there's got to be a little bit of signage there too. So there's got to be a way to accomplish these kind of things. If you take bikes into the traffic, well, okay, we do, but we got to do it in the most intelligent, practical way as possible.
So hopefully, long-term, we'll have that trail that runs along, and they won't even be going by there. They'll
Right.
be coming down the trail.
Correct.
We're going to name it the Bob Marsh Trail.
That's right.
No, just to get it done.
That's right. Okay. So we've got the chief on the bike shops and the bike lights and bells, so that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll have more credibility than we would walking in there, so,
Well, they did like 6 years ago, they went, when we first started this, they
Yes.
did go and because I remember Tom Roth coming here, and
Uh-huh.
we had Terry Shields,
Yep.
and Dennis Flynn.
Dennis
you
Flynn.
know. And I think Tom was the only one that got the lights and the bells on there, and the other ones didn't, and after the second year, when nobody talked to him, he stopped doing it. You know, he said, why should I put out the extra money if my competition doesn't?
right.
And I understood his thing. I said,
But isn't it a law that you need to have those?
I've been told it's the law, I don't have the statute.
Yeah, I can't remember who said this to me today, but somebody said it's a federal law even, that lights on bikes and stuff, but I don't know, maybe, it could have been Terry, but I'm not sure.
Pretty sure it's there was a state rule that said
Yeah.
if you rent bikes that are going to be used at nighttime, you have to have lights on them.
Right.
Or if you have a multi-day rental, they have to have lights on them,
Yeah.
because then they're going to be ridden at night, yeah.
Yeah,
Now, is that a proposed ordinance, or,
I believe it's a state law, it's in the,
Would we want to prioritize this new comprehensive plan for this bike lane that you're talking about? If Canyon House Lane isn't going to be an option and he wants a more comprehensive, would we want to direct the consultants to do that as part of their project? I mean, I don't think it would occur to him that we want to connect the bridge to Cape May on another path. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't sound like the Canyon House Lane's going to happen.
yeah. The electric company's putting in the big metal poles all the way down, so you would talk to somebody, didn't you?
I talked to Ronnie Towns, and she said, she said, we've heard about this before, and you need to have a formal letter sent to us, and then we could say yes, no, maybe. She said, we do like to encourage that kind of thing, but can't guarantee, she said, I can't guarantee it'll get approved, but
So with that in mind, should we let the consultant
yeah,
know that that's something?
the issue
we
with the
want to
consultants that I struggle with every time I meet with them, they continue to say they want to be data-driven, and they're using these hotspots that don't, there's not enough data to make it statistically significant. They need to go out and look at all the routes. They need to do what we just said. They need to say, what's the best way to get from Lobster House into town? What's the best way to get from Stevens Street into town? What's the best way to get from Broadway and Leeming into town? They don't think like that.
no,
And that is a comprehensive plan, which Paul just said, that we need to look at. And I've offered every meeting, I will take you out on the entire town, anywhere you want to go, and I will have you almost get hit by a car 4 or 5 times, easily, on
Yeah.
any day, at any time of day.
yeah,
You cannot, you have to go see it to make a plan. And I know you ride, and you ride, but they don't.
right?
So they're trying to look at statistics that are not robust enough to make decision. How, yeah, how do you not have Broadway as an issue? Unless we bring it up.
But you have York Avenue as a problem.
Huh.
A one-block road.
Because there was
And
an
they had
accident.
that highlighted in red, that's because the person got killed by the bus at the end of the street there.
Right.
So they marked that street that he wasn't even on,
Right, that was the cross
but they
street.
did Broadway.
Yeah. So I'm sorry for my rant there, but the long answer to your question, absolutely. That should be one of our comprehensive bike plan and have an action plan to get it done, not, oh yeah, that looks good. I mean, I pulled out a plan from the island. I have giant maps that are on my kitchen table right now. I looked at them, and a lot of this stuff has been, we're not inventing a new wheel here. This has already been talked about, but never, it was a great consulting project. It was done, and then the implementation part never happened.
I mean, to their credit, if you have to do all this data in order to get the grants to do these projects, I get that. But I'm not hearing we're doing this first, and then we're going to do the plan, the plan.
I mean, for you, you have a store. You want people to safely get on their bike anywhere on our island to get to that mall. And I'm sure every single other store would like that too. I think all our residents, actually from talking to them in West Cape May, want their kids to have a way that they can get on their bikes and get to the beach without getting run over on Broadway. I mean, so if you frame it like that, this is what we're trying to do, not let's look for I mean, they're going, I don't even know, I'm not even sure what how their methodology works, other than they need data. And you might be right, they may need that for grants.
Later on.
Because it's not hearsay.
Well, could we put a meeting together informally, like subcommittee, to go and meet with them? Or
Yeah.
Is that?
yeah, that's our intention,
Yeah.
is to meet with them before the
Yep.
formal August meeting, so that we can say the things that you just said.
But I've said them in 2 meetings, and they basically, oh, yeah, we understand that, we'll get to that. and then they continue to say,
Well-
this is the data.
Well, they had their,
I get that. But
but maybe this new plan with the little bridge, bring that to their attention, because they wouldn't have thought that up necessarily.
no.
So
And it's a
that-
pedestrian bike bridge. It's not a car bridge, so it's not going to cost a gazillion dollars to build a bridge that a fire truck can go over. It's just a bike pedestrian bridge.
Yeah. No, but sounds like that could work.
He doesn't think we'll get the DEP. We may not, but it's,
Just put it in.
I think it's worth a shot, because that is the way to get from West Cape May to the beach.
The Army come in with a helicopter, just lower it right
They-
into place.
I've watched them do that. That's exactly what they would do. They could just drop it in with a Sikorsky.
Sounds great.
They may not
Not
have
even
to.
kill any turtles.
You can go from street to street, and it would be arched enough that you wouldn't have to drop any footers into the, so that it would be strong enough, because what's the weight of a bike? And then you have to have somebody standing there enforcing it so no electric vehicles go across, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Golf carts.
Well, we have inadvertently entered into new business, so we're talking about consolidating the wish list. And so I would ask the committee members and George just to go over the wish list and see what really is going to get some action for us. And some of the stuff might be,
Well, I guess what I would look at is, these are wish lists, and when Paul said you need a comprehensive thought process. So these are all very specific,
Yep.
and that's great, and we could action all these, fine. What I'd like to see is the comprehensive, this is the route from Lobster House to the mall. This is the route
Yep.
from West Cape May down to the beach. This is the route down Broadway. And these are, underneath, these are bullet point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that have to happen to make those routes
right,
happen.
right.
This, instead of just looking like, I mean, we could brainstorm what we think should be these routes.
Yeah.
And then this is why we have this action plan, because we want these routes to happen. And that's where the bridge falls in. That's where the trail, going to the electric company, getting that trail put in. That's where we say, hey, we want people going down that trail, then on the park. We need to make sure that the signage on the roundabout is correct so that people can go to the beach down that street to Grant, down Grant. So we need to make sure Grant's fixed. Those are,
Maybe we need to meet before.
that's what I'm saying. We need to have, I would like to see us come up with, hey, these are the problem holistically. These are the things we're trying to accomplish. We want a route from here to here, here to here. What do we do? We need a route to Sunset Beach. That's going to get taken care of because they're redoing the road, but that's 2 years from now, but it's there.
But didn't, several years ago, when we first came out with the map.
Yeah.
Remember their old bicycle map? That did a lot of what we're saying
It did,
here.
yeah.
I mean, we had the map, and it showed in green,
Right.
here's how you get,
Still have that map. I have,
and
I have
in
it out.
red, here's how you
Right.
don't get there.
The city's out of them, they're mimeographing them and handing them out.
we have some in the Borough Hall.
Really?
They're sitting on the counter.
Yeah, because I had one of my tenants.
So I think a lot of that work has been done, not all of it, because it doesn't have all the hot spots, but
On the mall.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mimeograph copies of it.
Wow.
we did come up with, here's proposed routes, how to get in town and out of town, and around the town to the beach.
And that was what I was hoping, that the group, the GPI group, would incorporate signage and wayfinding into their recommendations, and then those,
Yeah.
we would have signs.
Yeah, those maps might be
emblems,
great.
stuff.
It's just, how do we enhance it, educate people? How do people, when they're on their bike, know that they shouldn't be going down Lafayette? They should be going down Cape May Avenue,
Yeah.
Or how?
That's always going to be a challenge.
Well, it is a challenge, but signage, education.
That's the big issue, is then how do you get that implemented so that people are using it?
Right, so I came in, I rode down Leaming today on Elmira. There's a sign at Venice.
Yes.
It's this big.
I know, but it
says
does
go
say
right.
turn
And if you
right.
go that way, there's no more signs. So, all right, I'll make a right turn, I'm in a parking lot.
Yeah.
Right, I'm in the Bank Street parking lot. I didn't go that way, I went straight down Elmira because I was coming here. But that's not sufficient to
Well, you need
alter
another
traffic.
sign at the end of,
Yeah, well, you need a sign that say bikes go this way. It's like,
Right, it should be distinctive, and it could be yellow, red, and green.
Yeah.
For that matter, and just so people get the idea.
But-
You know,
but-
you can't go down that street.
Yeah, the plan that they have, and I literally have giant maps of all the bike routes from, this was done, I don't know how many, but I have the big plan. I was looking at them today, it's like, yeah, a lot of this stuff makes sense. We're not reinventing the wheel. It's just, what's the implementation? What makes that a better route than going down Broadway that's going to encourage people to go down Pacific instead of Broadway? Or how do you encourage people to go down Pittsburgh to Cape May Avenue and cross Madison, go down Columbia into town?
Right.
They're the big streets. I mean,
Yeah.
how do you switch people? I mean, I don't ride down Lafayette, and I can ride as fast as traffic. I wouldn't do that.
So we all know that there's a certain percentage of the population that's, they're going to be rule followers, and
Yeah.
then there's the rest of them.
There's going to be the serial.
You're not going to fix that.
Quick question, how do you tell the tourists that come in for a week or two, because that's like a week.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, yeah. So how do we get that word out? How do we promote a digital map that people can access? And the chief talked about social media and that type of thing, and I think that's the answer, because that's what people are going to do when they come here.
Agree. But what if you did signage that had some branding on it,
Exactly.
like a signage? Hey, here's a picture of the ocean with some seagulls, or in the lighthouse, and you put them.
We've been talking about this for a long time.
Like
Another
the,
fisherman's wharf.
on 47, there's the byway, the Heritage Byway signs.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You brand the lighthouse. We'll get MAC to pay for that.
But we want to do it island-wide, so it's the same signage.
Exactly. Well, same sign, but to different places, it would be slightly different. So if you want to go to the beach, it would say, this is the beach. There's the beach sign. Go this way, bicycle. There's a bicycle and the beach. Washington Street Mall, I don't know what your icon could be for that. You guys can, your chamber can do that.
Dollar
Boom.
signs,
What's that?
the big dollar sign.
Yeah, no. Yes. But people want to go there. It's not yeah, but, so that's how I would sign the streets. Very distinctive. You can see them. It's a bikes.
Yeah.
And then the social media is there, we could, boom, Facebook page, boom, there it is, there's the signs. It's all big branding, marketing. I mean, we could get the money from the grants we're gonna get from these guys.
But what
Yeah.
stopped that from happening is actually having the coordinated route.
Plan, oh, yeah.
It's not, we don't
Correct.
have one.
The plan that we may have, the little brochure could be absolutely 100% correct. Just nobody knows about it.
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna.
mean, it says red for Broadway, but everybody goes down Broadway.
I think one of the things our brochure did was, we didn't really weight it towards West Cape May. I'm gonna grab a map for George.
Oh, I have the map.
West Cape May was.
It's on there.
Yeah, because we were trying to take people off of Broadway and take them down the side streets out to Beach Plum Farm and the Lighthouse off of Sunset at that point. And that will all change when Sunset gets, fixed up.
Hopefully, I mean, it looks, on paper, it looks really good. Because there's a pedestrian boardwalk, and then there's bike lanes,
Wow.
and speed tables, and crosswalks that are marked to get to the walking thing.
Yeah, good.
I wonder if it would do any good to talk to other municipalities that face the same problem. And again, I always go back to Ocean City, which is an all-American bicycle city, and they came to talk to us. I don't even remember it.
Did, it was,
About five,
I have this.
2 or 3 years ago.
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
So
It's-
there's Broadway
yeah.
all red.
What are their ideas? How, did they solve this problem? Is it a similar problem there?
They had a coalition of bike shops and things like that.
Right. But, it might be something we look at going down the road here as far
What happened
as
in my bike?
inviting them back to,
To hand out to
To
people
have a
who were
session.
buying.
They gave us an overview, but they didn't say, okay, how did you get over
I
this?
think this is the way it is.
exactly.
I'm not sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Like, Paul just said they don't need a neat letter for him, but everybody in Ronnie Town says she does need a letter from him, as far as,
No, she said we could start, but Lower they have to agree, and so does Cape. Cape May only has a little teeny
They just have that section that goes between Park and Canning House Lane.
They don't own that road. That's
No,
what's-
they don't own it, but they
That's
have
what-
the permission from Atlantic City Electric.
Yes, yeah.
To use that.
That is technically Park Avenue extension.
Right.
So it's part of our roadway. I mean, if we wanted to pave that, we could.
The other thing about this map, and I realize it's for old people like me who like to have a piece of paper in their hands, but it was to help plan out your, okay, today we're going out to the point. Okay, let's look at this, and, you tell your family, this is what you're doing. And I think that, I wouldn't mind having a paper map and an electronic map, ultimately,
Yeah.
once we launch this, if we have the money for it.
So, George, we're pretty much here, I mean, in
Yeah.
terms of routes. We can dress it up a little bit, but,
So if you look, I mean, even the one I said where I want my bridge. It's right there. It's on the map. It's green, down Pacific, across, on a Sunset, First, and the land that we own is a little bit in from First, and then it goes to First to First. We own one side of it, and Cape May owns the other. We have a lot. There's a lot there that we own.
yeah.
There's no house there. So but that would take people off that red section of Broadway. Obviously, I'm interested in that since I'm in West Cape May, but I'm also interested in Lafayette and Washington. and
Yeah,
how-
so we kind of have it.
Yeah, but the question is, it's not signed. There's no way people would know to go down.
Oh, no, that's right. So we need to use this as an
But
impetus.
this is our base,
Yeah,
Yeah, we don't have to reinvent the wheel.
yeah.
all right.
I mean, has the consulting company looked at this?
Probably not.
Still want to take them on bikes.
We-
We'll lead them.
These things are like gold now because there's only a few of them.
Control what they do.
I think I have some at home, too.
But,
We'll rent them bikes and
but this is something our committee did
Yes.
5 years ago or whenever it was.
So,
I'll take them down.
no, it's good. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So I think we're never going to get rid of the paper map, just because it's nice. But also, it needs to be digitized and accessed. Okay.
Here's the worst section from the
Are you going to try and contact the consultants to meet with them?
Yeah, now, we need to get, and I think George's comment is well taken. We probably need to meet to go through this stuff before we meet with them. So we
Well,
have
that's
our
true, too, yeah.
we have our act
Have
together.
our act together, yeah.
Right, I mean,
And then they're throwing.
because I could say to you all, I want you all to review this, review the wish list and come up with but I think we're gonna have to do it
We
ourselves.
got to be more specific here.
I want you to do it before we meet.
Yeah.
And then we meet with them. So actually, we're talking about two meetings
Meetings
occurring
before-
before the August meeting.
Yeah.
And so we'll get our calendars and see if we can do it.
If there's any way we could meet before the 25th of July, I'd appreciate it.
Okay.
Today's the 10th.
Today's the 10th. Let's pull out our calendars, I mean, because this is the subcommittee. There's no breaking this down. I mean,
Yeah. No, we were at,
this is it. Okay, so we got the 10th, and we could do next week
Let's see what I got.
on the 17th. Same, we could meet, same
That's-
9:30?
9:30 on Wednesday?
Yeah?
Hang on, let me look, hang on a second, let me see.
How's everybody doing with that?
I can do
I'll
that.
have to switch work, but I'll make it.
Okay,
I think I'm good.
okay.
I can do the 17th, yep.
Okay. 9:30 here. Do we have to make sure the room is available?
Yeah, I'll get Terry on that. Well, it's not fair, but she, I mean, I think it's sanity for her to be able to work on
See, I
this.
live right there, so when I see
Yes and no.
Okay.
turn here and go down
I got to run.
all the time.
My time is up.
So then there's a,
Good.
because when I go to the beach, here, what, this is what.
So we'll do our homework in between. Between now and then, we'll do our homework and look at all this.
Yeah,
Come here with a list of ideas and,
Right.
yeah,
Go home.
good.
All right. See you all next week.
okay, sounds good.
But everybody who doesn't, they stay on, go the wrong way, which is a nightmare.
Could
Oh,
I
you're
ask-
welcome.
Could I
So-
ask who you are for our minutes? I'm taking the minutes for Terry. I didn't catch your name, I'm sorry.
All right. Thank you.
I'm on York.
Oh, yeah, so you go
The
Grant.
grant.
So there's bike lane.
Yeah. So Puglia,
Well, actually, it's not.
from, that's a region in Italy,
We should
near the heel of the boot.
share the road on Grant. I mean, I walked down Grant every day. There's not a lot of traffic on Grant. So that would be the perfect way in
Uh-huh, yeah.
this area. But all these people,
No, my son lives there.
so you don't
yeah.
want to cross this mess. You want,
Northeast,
so here,
northeast
they
section.
can get down onto the new trail.
But you do need one place to cross here to get them over if they're going over to Cape May.
Well, I would personally, go
Yeah, it's all right.
Fourth is, has bike
We,
lane.
we appreciate your interest, yeah.
And there's no stop sign.
Okay,
Stop sign and crosswalk. It's,
yeah, same here.
and it's not much.
Yeah, Fort Susan's is a dead end.
Yeah, but so, well, there's none of the
Yeah, would you like to join us?
through
Even if for a few months a year?
Here,
Gil Cortellini.
Yeah,
road with 4 names,
we can always use another good member.
naming,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elmira and
that-
Ocean.
And that's Stewart,
yeah,
that little strip is
driveway,
Stewart.
yeah.
Now, this is going to be paved. We're doing this over. We're
How
gonna-
about how about I accept a motion to adjourn and then we can turn the mics off?
Second.
And a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second?
So moved.
So moved. Okay, very good. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Joe.
I'll turn off the streaming now.
9:30 is that meeting?
Yes.
All right.
9:30 on the 17th.
I still want to get those people, turn that off.